Hey, this is Chuck Larson. You're watching the CARC channel on YouTube.
Deep in the forests of North America, a creature is said to exist. A creature that people are encountering. With far too many reports to ignore, there are elements of truth behind these accounts that mankind can no longer ignore.
Breaking news out of Texas, Bigfoot is real.
Could a breeding population of large, upright, hairy hominids really exist in North America?
Hey.
Deep in the forests of North America, a creature is said to exist. A creature that people are encountering. With far too many reports to ignore, there are elements of truth behind these accounts that mankind can no longer.
Hi, Gwen.
Goes with the rest of the week. Hey, everybody. It's the Gwen and Carey show.
The way the week's gone, that's the perfect way to start.
It's the perfect way to start. It's been a kind of rough week for everybody in the house here. So welcome to another night of From Behind Tall Trees Ladies Night. We were going to have Lee Woods on tonight, but unfortunately he was unable to join us. So we have John Nicely with us. I believe John is from Virginia, and we'll be hearing about some of his experiences down there in Virginia. So how you doing, Carey?
This is Wednesday. Our what do they say? It's hump day.
Hump day. So everybody watching, this is our second to last show of the season. We only have one more show. And
it's so sad, but it's been a great year so far.
Hey, David Lester, nice of you to join us. Just real quick, next week or at the end of the month, I believe it's the 23rd, our very last show, we're going to be talking to Jessica Mora and her partner Kim. They are putting on a huge event in North Carolina called Encounter Quest. And so we're going to have them both on, and they're going to be talking to us about that. So, John, how you doing?
All right. And y'all?
It's Wednesday, buddy.
It's Wednesday, exactly.
Halfway to the end. Halfway to the end.
It ought to be Friday evening.
I know it. Well, thank you for joining us on such short notice. We really appreciate it. So, you're from Virginia?
Yeah.
Hey, Melissa. Melissa and David are like our top fans. They are here every time we are on. And
every week.
Every week. Yep. Yep.
Or every time, whatever. Yeah. What? I'm done.
Yeah. I don't even know what.
Checked out.
So, have you had any experiences with Bigfoot, John?
Yeah. Just the one.
Okay.
Ooh, I'm excited.
I know, right? How long ago was this?
20-some years ago.
Ooh.
Wow. Okay. Do tell us.
Yeah, it's been a good while. Yeah, they let's see. How would I start this?
Right from the beginning. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. Well, it started off as a weekend camping trip, one day thing, hey, a couple of us got together and said, hey, look, yeah, let's go camping. So we throw the stuff on the truck and go up and set up, nothing out of the ordinary. We went up, had a couple of beers, fixed something to eat, and we'd heard, rusting stuff off, we eat stuff, I was in the world or whatever, because the black I was hanging out was the big man at the time. And so it all went off like it's supposed to. It was one big tent, so we was all in the tent together. And I'd say it was probably 12, 1 o'clock, it kicked the tent. Well, my first thought was, okay, well, one of these idiots done kicked the tent, because it done got out, went to the bathroom, coming back. I turned over and I was like, really? Well, they didn't answer. So I looked back over my shoulder. Well, I could count them. 1, 2, 3. All right. Well, it's not any of them. Well, when I back over and looked up, well, now I can't say he, I say he, but I can't say he, because I didn't get to see the front,
Right.
but I could see just above the knee up to the top of his head or head, whichever one you want it to be. And that's what kicked the tent.
Wow.
When it was standing, the tent is a 4-man tent. So you're looking at, I'm not exactly for sure the length of the tent, but he wasn't any more than, 6 feet away from me at that time. And just stood there all big and broad shouldered, never made a noise. I never smelt anything. And then I guess when he decided it was time to go, just walked off into the dark. I mean, the moon was full. So it wasn't like you could not see what you were looking at. And then the fire still had embers in it. So you had a little bit of glow from that, and then the moon. And then, like I said, you just walked off into the darkness.
And what were you thinking? Like,
course,
you're like, oh shit.
Well, at first I was trying to, comprehend. Yeah,
Right.
I was trying to comprehend everything, and I looked over. Them 3 were still asleep. So there's no point waking them up. They didn't see anything. And to this day, I've never told anything. Well, one of them has passed away, but I've never said anything to the other 2. Wasn't any use. They were asleep.
Right.
Of
Do
course,
you think they would have believed you?
I don't know. Now, if I'd have woke him up when he was still standing there, now, if you don't believe me, we'll just look right there, But the only thing that separated me from him was the canvas, was the tent.
Which isn't a lot.
Yeah. If the tent was there, I probably could have kicked him in the ankle when he was standing there.
Oh, wow.
I've been in the woods all my life. So, bear don't look like that. I'm sorry. A bear looks like that.
Interesting.
Of course, the biggest question that everybody asks me is, "What did you go outside of the tent?" Hell no. No, this is something that's, not supposed to be real, but he's standing, I can kick him. So he's standing next close to the tent, 7.5 feet tall. Hell no, I'm not going outside.
Right.
No.
Right. Now, did you believe in Bigfoot before this?
No, my grandmother and grandfather raised me. So they, so I was very independent. I was camping by myself at 10 years old. Me and the neighborhood kids would go, had a couple of people that owned a bunch of land. So 10 years old, we'd go camping, by ourselves, no adults. Just then that's just the way it was. You get up in the morning, you eat breakfast. Okay, I'm gonna clean the house. Bye. I see you when I see you at dark. So
I think that's how most of us grew up. We just
I'd
left early in the morning and didn't come home until
either
the dinner bell rang or lights were out.
I watch TV shows. I still watch all the TV shows and everything. But you can't tell me. I know what I saw. No bear stands 7.5. No bear stands 7.5 feet tall.
And walk away
around here.
Yeah.
And walk away. So it's in the first part of fall of the year. So
okay.
course, and I've been asked too. Well, I didn't go look for any print.
Yeah, it was actually going to be my next question. Did you see anything like the next morning? Did you try to look for anything?
Probably just still in shock.
Oh. I think you froze for a moment.
There was around there wasn't anything around the tent, and I didn't go wandering off anywhere else. We were scheduled to, pack our stuff up, go home. So we packed our stuff up, went home, and I left it at that. Like I said, I never mentioned a word to none of the three. To this day, they have no idea. And actually, Daniel was the first person I have ever told that story to.
Wow.
And
I'm sure he believed you.
Yeah. Now, it took me, roughly 20 years to tell my wife.
And does she think you're crazy?
No, she goes with me. She goes with me to all of the events that go to, and she won't have nothing to do with what we're doing.
Right.
But she goes to all the events and talks to everybody, and now there's like I said, Daniel, there's a story behind. The only reason I told her the story is we were camping, and she had seen a bobcat. A mountain lion, which mountain lions are not supposed to exist in the state of Virginia.
Oh, no.
So, she seen it. She woke me up. I saw it, and then so she was doing the right thing. The next morning, the park rangers came in. She told the park rangers, well, they all, you did, you seen a bobcat.
Of course.
Oh, well, you seen a coyote. They just beat her up. You know what I'm saying? And I thought, okay, now I'll tell her. Now she thinks she's gonna catch grief over the mountain lion. Wait till I tell her my story.
So I'm assuming you trumped it, huh?
Right. What part of Virginia are you living in, John?
Rockridge County.
Rockridge County. Okay. The Lesters were asking. They live in Virginia. They were wondering what part of Virginia you were from. Is that about where you had this encounter?
Yeah, it's about 40 miles from where we live at now.
Okay. So not tragically far.
No, not too far. And I've never been back to that place camping again since then, but it's a popular place to camp. It's very primitive campsite.
Okay.
But there's a creek there that's stocked with trout every year. So, there's people there fishing all the time. And, it's like anywhere else you stock trout. Everybody can say, oh, we caught them all. You'll never catch them all. There's always.
Right.
So there's, I don't see why it wouldn't be plenty of resources around for one.
Right.
But see, there's a report on the BFR website.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that if you link it over to Bedford County Sheriff's Department, there's a lady that actually filed a police report because she saw a female cross the road in front of her with a baby.
Oh.
And that is within, probably 10 miles of the campsite that we were at.
Right.
So if you were able to go back with a couple people today, would you go back to where you originally had your sighting?
Oh yeah, I go back. Yeah, like I said, as far as I've watched the movies and I've seen the, all the shows. And I'm not saying that you can't run into one that's going to be mean and ornery, but he just, went by like.
I mean, we
like
run into mean and honoring people all day, every day. So yeah, I can't see why not.
I figured he just walking through because that's the way he'd walked through before, several times before, and just stopped, to say, well, who's these idiots all on my campsite, and
I just wonder after 20 years if there's still an activity in that same area, or like you said, maybe they were just walking through, or you might have disturbed their their area for the evening. I just wonder if they still might be there.
I have no idea. Now me and my wife has been back up on the parkway, around where that campground is at, and we haven't seen anything. I've got some pictures that are kind of, iffy, tree breaks.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been up there a couple of times, and it'd be you're looking at middle of the day hiking, nice pretty day, sun's out, no weird weather, and there's nothing. There's not a bird singing, there's not a squirrel moving, there's just nothing.
Interesting.
Get that. I've been enough to know, that if you get that feeling, that there's something here that shouldn't be here, or there's something around that you can't see. I felt that a couple of times with her. So I mean, that could have been my spider senses, after a bear, because
so when you've been out with your,
what's that?
I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but since you were out with your wife, has she felt the same things?
I don't think she
or maybe she
recognized
didn't
it
tell
until,
you.
Yeah, I don't think she recognized it after I said something, hey, listen, at what? I said, exactly. There's nothing.
Right. Now, is she experienced in the woods? Like, is she a hunter? Has she ever done anything like that she would?
Oh yeah, she'd do anything I do. So,
Okay.
Well, to a point.
Okay. So did that start your Bigfoot
she knows
journey?
the difference in her.
Yeah.
Well, the sighting didn't know.
Okay.
Because I went on the FRO and filled the report out like it asked you to.
Right.
Nothing. Absolutely no contact at all, nothing. So I said, okay. So I went back, done it again, and I talked to a lady. I have no idea what her name was. And she asked me to fill a report out. Well, I don't fill the report out one time.
Right.
I'm not a typer. So why can't you just call me and I'll tell you? You can record me telling you.
Yeah.
But that never happened because she wanted a report and she said she would send somebody out to meet me. That never happened. So I told my wife, I said, well, I'm done with all of that. And then we were watching one of the shows on TV, and I was scrolling through, and I told her, I said, I don't know, I just got this feeling that I need to try again. So got scrolling through, and I found his site.
Mm-hmm.
And give me his number. So I sent him a message, and I told my wife, I said, I'll tell you what. I said, if he doesn't contact me back, I'm done. Nobody will ever hear this story but you. And then, surprisingly, I don't know, a couple of days later, he gets in touch with me. And then, kind of tricks me on the podcast thing.
Yeah. We love Daniel here at the CARC, and I know he's out in Washington right now. He's sporting my shirt, so that's pretty cool.
He's pretty amazing to talk to.
He's pretty amazing to talk to. I've been on well, one, I was there with David Lester and Melissa Lester. That's how I met them. But we were on an expedition with Daniel back in May, I believe it was. We had a great time. We had a great time. He's very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable.
Yeah. Like I said, he actually contacted me back and he listened.
Yes.
That was more than anybody else would do. And then, he invited me down to the first conference he had. And then I think it was the second one. And then the second one, he talked me into coming up and telling the story in front of the audience.
Hi, Patrick. Getting a couple new guests on, or watchers anyway. So what are your thoughts on Bigfoot? Do you think he's real? Do you think he's spiritual, supernatural, paranormal, whatever else anybody wants to call it? What's your take?
What's that?
What's your take on Bigfoot? Is he real? Is he paranormal?
What
do you think he is?
He kicked the 10. I don't think you get no more real than that.
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
He looked. I mean, I say, like I said, I say he, but I can't. I can't be sure of. But he's pretty damn real to me.
Yeah, when he kicks your tent, that's pretty. I know Carrie and I have camped in my yard. I'm cohabitating with a Bigfoot, I believe, and at least two. I think we have at least two here. Would you agree with me?
I think you have two or more.
And there's been footsteps around the tents and heavy breathing and giggling and mimicking me, and it's but we can't seem to find him, can we?
I think it likes to play games when Gwen and I are together.
Yeah.
Because it likes and I've never been around for very long, but this has been around Gwen for quite a long time. But mimicked Gwen's voice and then mimicked my laugh, and we both thought it was each other.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to see another one just to reassure myself that that I was awake for the first one.
Right.
I've personally never seen one. I would like to. There's a chance here I'll see one eventually. Maybe.
Yeah. I had my first sighting in it's been almost 2 years now, and I've been on the full man hunt ever since.
So speaking of the full man hunt, have you been actively looking for Bigfoot on a regular basis, or what are you doing now?
No, I run one half of a body shop, and I don't want to get too much into that part, but you can't find nobody that wants to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Body shop, we're all over 50 years old.
Right.
So, a whole lot more work there than 5 or 6 50-year-old pluses can handle. But like I say, you can't give nobody a job.
Right.
And it's been this summer, it's been so hot, that me and my wife, most of the time when we hike, we go up on the parkway, which would be going back that way where right. I had saw him, and we go up there. It's been so hot this summer that by the time you work I work in the side of the body shop that 100 degrees and 90% humidity is every day.
Right.
Yeah.
So
probably the last thing you want to do is go out
5 days.
Yeah.
You're probably pretty exhausted.
Got to do that on. Yeah. So, but it's cooling off now. So.
Hi, Mike. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. We got some more people jumping on here. So have you gotten any kind of evidence at all? Or just that sighting that
No,
you had?
just
Just that sighting.
just that sighting. Yeah, just that sighting, and a few and some pictures that me and my wife had took, and I don't know whether you want to call that evidence or not, but
Right.
I personally couldn't reach where it was broke and twisted, and there was nothing else broke and twisted around it, several places. And that's the same place that I was telling you that it just went stone cold quiet. I mean, just, you could hear your own self think, in the woods it was so quiet. And it was such a pretty day, you think, birds, but, and I understand that you can, like I say, I've been in the woods on off all my life. So I understand that you could trade that off for being, a bear wandering around, or the bobcat, or the bobcat around, or the mountain lion around that's not supposed to be here.
Oh, we have those too. Yeah.
They say we don't have them in Pennsylvania, but there's been way too many photographs and trail cameras that have caught a few of them over in the last couple of years.
You can't tell me we ain't got them.
Right. Like I explained to the rangers, I said, look, so they can be here and they can be there. They're like, oh yeah, they're there. I said, well, that's just the next state over.
Yeah.
I said, so when they decide they want to leave a certain area to go to another to find better resources.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they come to the Virginia state line and go, oh, we can't go over there. We got to turn
that's
around.
Virginia. We can't go there. Yeah. That's horseshit. Yeah. Bobcats don't give a shit.
And I'm not the only one. Well, I say me, but we are not the only ones that ever saw one.
Right.
No.
Right.
I agree with you.
So
do you think
Bigfoot hibernates? Melissa's asking. If you think he hibernates. No?
Oh, like hibernate like a bear?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like hibernate like a bear? No. No, I don't, because I think he's more like us. I think he's more like us.
I agree with that.
What I was going to say is hibernate. Do you mean hibernating in the summertime when it's damn 90 degrees and 100% humidity? Yes.
Yeah.
That's when I'd be finding myself in a cave.
Yeah, I think he's like us.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense.
Yep.
I mean, of course, that's my opinion, but because it looked an awful lot like us, except for a big fur coat on, a big fur coat.
Big fur coat, yes. I know. Last night,
a really big.
Last night was pretty interesting at my house. See, I went outside to take a picture of the moon because I'm obsessed with taking pictures of the moon. And to the right of me, I heard footfall and a tree snap. And I was like, what's that? I come in the house, I get a flashlight, I go back outside. I can't find anything. I thought maybe there's a bear at the beehive. So I walk over, shine the flashlight at the beehive. They're totally fine. I go back in the house. Now I'm miffed because, damn it, why can't you just show yourself? Like, I just want to see you. Like, why can't you just show me that you're there? And the dogs went ballistic for about 20, 30 minutes at the door. I videotaped them barking and growling and carrying on at the door. Go outside with the flashlight. There ain't nothing there. I'm like, dude, seriously. Come up, knock on the door, say hi. I'll give you a beer.
Harry is not coming to your door to say hi. I'm just saying.
He is not. He, little sucker, I think, wants me to go out in the woods. I mean,
it's not like we haven't done that.
But geez, man. John, it's never a dull moment at my house.
It's true.
I've learned so much about Bigfoot, it's not even funny.
Like I said, my grandmother and grandfather raised me, and it never. They told me several times that I never thought nothing about it,
Right.
But my grandfather would always say, it was simple. Like I said earlier, you get up, you have breakfast, and it was. And my uncles, they got breakfast before I did because they were the men that went to work,
right.
And made the money. So then I'd have my breakfast, and then my grandmother was like, "Okay, well, I'm cleaning the house. What are you doing? I'll see you later." So, and then like say if I would happen to come home 10 to 15 minutes after dark, or which would be running late, my grandfather would always sit on the porch every evening, and I don't know how many times he'd said, "Hey boy, if you knew exactly what came out after dark, you would never go outside again." Now, what does that mean? At the time, I had no idea.
That was going to be my next question for you. Yeah. So, since your family lived there for so long, did they ever share any of those stories with you of what they found or seen or heard?
Now, he in his younger days he hunted and he trapped. So I know he hunted and he trapped beaver and so he run traps and he hunted. So could he have run into one? I don't see why he couldn't, but never told me he did because he was probably like most people, don't want to hear somebody pick and poke and but never dawned on me till after I seen what I saw, and then when I remembered what he told me more than one time. Of course, my grandmother said the same thing too. If you knew exactly what came out after dark in the woods, you probably would never go outside after dark anymore. And I just thought, okay, well, you're scaring me, so I won't be 15 minutes late tomorrow.
That's what us parents do, isn't it?
But whether that's what they were or whether they, saw something they never told anybody, we'll never know because they're both gone.
Hi, Donald. Thank you for joining us tonight from Vermont.
It's one of my favorite places.
I was only there one time. They have great cheese.
I was born and raised there. There's a fun fact for you for tonight. I was born and raised there for a long time until I joined the military.
I've never been that far.
You've never been that far?
I was born and raised. I was born in Pennsylvania, but raised in Maryland. So
I've been to Pennsylvania. That's as far north as that.
As far north as you've ever been?
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
I hope one day to travel the world.
My grandmother and grandfather were big NASCAR fans. So they went to all the racetracks up and down the East Coast. So by the time I was 8, I had done been to every NASCAR track up and down the East Coast twice.
Dang.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot of races.
Of mine. It's a goal of mine.
Yeah. He owned his own business. Yeah, he owned his own business. So it was simple. Well, we're going to Charlotte to the race this weekend. And that was it. I mean, when it come time to go, if he tell you, okay, well, look, we're leaving at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you showed up at his house at 8:05, you didn't go.
Exactly.
Nice.
And yes, Donald, Cabot's my favorite cheese. Sorry, he was talking about cheese on the Cabot is seriously one of my most favorite cheeses.
Absolutely.
We done the campground deal, so every racetrack we went to, we stayed in the campground. And it's just like, like so you would go to Charlotte, you would go to Atlanta, you would go to Daytona, and all these places. When you got to the campgrounds, it was just like, okay, well, I left Virginia, now I'm gonna hang out with my family in Florida, and then I'm gonna hang out with my family in Atlanta because that's where they were at that time.
Right. Were they wooded campsites that you stayed, or? Sorry, Carrie.
What's that?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Where you stayed, were they wooded type of campsites, or were they like?
No, they were mostly open. Just
Okay.
in other words, it was just a big field, and they would designate, so much by so much, and that's yours.
Right. Interesting.
So, I have an interesting question. In order for, well, it's not interesting. We've all asked this question a couple times before, but what do you feel like is going to be the thing that's going to make everyone believe that there's a Bigfoot?
You're going to have one. And I mean, what I mean by that is physical. The pictures, the video, never, ever going to be enough, because there's always going to be somebody that says, well, they done this, they done that, and then you'll have multiple people will follow behind them, not knowing one way or the other. Yeah. It's going to have to be a a physical body. Now, I'm not saying that you take your guns out, you shoot them up and drag one out and go, well, here, just proof enough, but it's going to have to be physical. It's going to have to be something that everybody can touch, see, and smell.
That's one thing I've noticed with the Bigfoot community. It's pretty, we've been doing this all day. It's pretty, the Bigfoot community, I've noticed, boy, it's either cut or dry. Like, and it doesn't kind of matter what side you're on. Everybody is very vicious to attack. Like, I don't share a lot of the evidence from my house or anything, because people are assholes, for lack of better wording. They just, and I think to myself, man, you weren't here. You didn't see it. You didn't experience it. So how can you tell me that that's not real, or that's not this, or that's not that? Now, I don't have blurry photos of Bigfoot to show anybody, but man, I got lots of
audio at my house.
We have tons of audio, but it's almost like it doesn't matter how good the evidence would be. Somebody's going to say, that's made up, that's this or that's that. And, before next thing you know, everybody blacklists you and says, yeah.
Well, that made me think. Now, I watch all the TV
Thank
shows.
You, David.
I watch all the TV shows, all that stuff. And there's a few that, when they were making them, that I made sure I watched every one of them. And Les Stroud is probably of the best outdoorsman that you could ever get. And so he done a series.
I'm not sure who Girls 18 online is, but this ain't this kind of chat there, ladies. Do you see somebody's hacking in on this?
I don't know whether I have ever watched any of his 30-minute shows or not, but he did a series where he went to different places looking for Bigfoot. And I sat here on a Saturday and Sunday. My wife had to work, so I sat here on a Saturday and Sunday and watched every episode. But I watched the background of every episode. Didn't pay attention to none of him moving the cameras and talking, because you can't see what's in the background if you're watching him. And
I've seen all of those videos, and you're right.
Yeah.
It's some pretty cool stuff.
Now, I found about a 15-second clip on one of his episodes, and if that didn't catch what he was looking for, I can't tell you what did. I mean, it was a right distance away, but you could zoom it in, and whatever it was, stood up and walked back into the woodline and stopped at the edge of the woodline, walked on in away. And as far as I know, all like y'all and like what everybody else posts on the sites that I'm on, nobody's ever mentioned that 15-second clip. I mean, now I know a bear can stand up and walk on its hind legs. That's just everybody should know that. If you're going, I think if you're going in the woods, you're looking for the big man, and you don't know
Yep.
what a bear does and what it can do, and what a bobcat does and what it can do, what a mountain lion does and what it can do, and then realize how those things change after dark, and you got no business going.
Right.
But if you look at a bear when they stand, and yes, they do, all the bears do it. If you look at a bear when they stand up, they do not stand straight up. Their body structures don't even allow them to stand straight up. They still have a hunch of some sort. And yes, they do walk on them, but they don't walk on them like a person. Bigfoot,
well, their legs aren't as
person. Correct.
Right.
So
a
I get
bear's
kind of
legs
when
are
someone
short.
tells me that it's a bear, and half the time they don't ever get out of their dang house long enough to even know what a bear would look like. But then the hunters and people who have seen them, it's frustrating. You tell me I saw a bear, and I've been in the woods my whole life.
Yeah, well, like they tried to tell my wife that she saw that she mistaken a coyote for a mountain lion. Well,
that's two different.
There's no damn way.
Give me a break.
They're not even close.
You know, she mistaken a dog or a cat for a dog.
No.
Because
they were banking on your recent experience.
Yeah, and then I told him, hey, did you see it? Yeah, I did. Okay, well, can you tell me how tall it was? And I, explained to him, how tall, how long, well, how could you do that? I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, what did you use to judge it by? I said, well, you see that fire pit over there? Yep. I said, now, let me teach you something. He's like, what's that? I said, that fire pit is in every campsite in the national forest, correct? Yes, sir. I said, that means that fire pit is the exact same height in every campsite in the national forest in the entire United States. I said, measure it. I said, there's where I got my distance from.
Right.
I said, there's how I judge the height and the length of that cat.
Right.
I also attempt to play golf some. So you got to kind of know, you kind of got to know judge your distance, when you're playing golf. So, he didn't have anything else to say to me after that. I reckon I made him look like a fool. Right. Because they're all made the same way. They're all it's a slab of concrete with the ring and then the grate on top of it. They're all the exact same height off the ground. Period.
Well, I'm really glad that you stuck up for her and explained your side of it, because Gwen and I'm sure many other women in our field who research Bigfoot tend to get dismissed. It's the best word I can come up with. And it's very hard to tell your story or to be heard in the community, because a lot of women do not do what we do. We shove ourselves out in the dark, gear up, enjoy, and we enjoy the hell out of it. But it's very hard for some people to take us seriously.
She likes to hike. She likes to hike. She likes to camp. She likes to fish. And we've been married about 24 years. So like when we go for a hike, I might stop, in the middle of a hike and go, come here, look there, and it be which is just like a turkey or a deer, and I'm like, can you tell me, what's that? Well, that's a deer. I said, okay, now can you tell me which way it's going? It's like, oh yeah, it's going. It's going that way.
My husband and I do that all the time. It's actually a lot of fun. We've also showed our kids when we've been on hikes the same exact thing. Our kids could track stuff at a really young age, so it's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think you get the most peace when you're hiking in the woods, away from everything and everybody.
I love to be in the woods.
If I could be in the woods all day, every day, I would.
One of these days, Carrie.
One of these days.
One of these days. When I hit the lottery, we're both going.
1.2 billion.
I see. Are you going to play, John? $1.2 billion? You gonna buy some tickets?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, I will too.
I got about 1.2 billion things to spend it on. Bigfoot gear, more Bigfoot gear, and trips all over the country to find people.
I just want a house in the middle of nowhere where Bigfoot can just come and have a campfire song with me. That's all.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to buy in Montana. I'm just going to live there. Just going to buy the whole state of Montana. Put my house square in the middle of it. Here I am, folks. And I'm going to look for Bigfoot every day, all day, morning to dark. And then into
So what are your future future plans? Besides working on cars or body, because I know that's a lot of work.
Yeah, that's a whole lot of work.
That's a lot.
I've been wanting to go, and do some investigations with Daniel. I'm assuming that when he gets done with Spokane, Washington, and a few other things that he's got going on, I hope he, settles back a little bit so we can go on a few, because I think he knows now. But if he watches this, he's going to find out, then, isn't he? But I have a drone on the way, and I already have my drone license.
Oh, awesome!
Fantastic.
That is
well.
Fantastic.
I know he definitely wants to get back out. I know he really wants to be in the woods, probably just as much as we do all the time.
Oh my gosh!
And hopefully we get to see you out there. I know that I missed my opportunity to go out with Daniel. And David. I know you did not.
Yeah, but, he was supposed to have something in October, but then he got too busy and nothing happened with that. So I'm hoping here in the spring he another camp as I'm going.
I actually have people that has contacted me, and I haven't called. I sent them a couple messages, and I haven't called them back to talk to them, but they have something weird going on at their house. The secondhand story that I've gotten is that there were, footprints, and decent sized footprints. These are footprints in the snow. So, there's no mixing them up. You know what I mean? You find footprints in the snow, you're going to pretty much know what you're looking at.
Pretty much.
These were extra large footprints that went out on the man's property, and they stopped at a tree, and that's it. There was no footprints to the right, to the left, behind the tree. They went to that tree and stopped.
So what's your take on that?
I don't know any more than that, but and that he's got. Right.
Oh, I think we're losing him.
That's interesting.
David, we do have to set something up for sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And this time nobody will have a messed up leg or broken arms or.
Oh, stop cursing yourself now. Stop.
Because when we went with Daniel,
you better be knocking on wood and I'm doing something, girlfriend.
When we went with Daniel in May, Mike had just had surgery and wasn't getting around real well. So that one.
I'm game for the next one. Just give me a little bit of time because I would love to come down.
It was a good time. We had a good time.
We haven't been out in a little bit. My husband has a new toy. He's waiting to play with it.
Oh, what's that? What's your husband get?
He purchased a FLIR. He's ready.
Oh, that's right.
You got that the other day.
Yeah, I got to see it. Yep.
Welcome back.
Yeah, hi.
I don't know what happened. They decided to. I reckon they cut off on the talking too much. I was supposed to contact him, but I'd like to hear the story out of his mouth, and then doesn't want anybody fooling around at all until after hunting season.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I, I'm kind of winging it, but because he called and talked to me.
Right.
So, I kind of know. I've never been on an investigation, but I've watched enough of them on TV, and heard people talk, on their podcasts and this, that, and the other on on Facebook or whatever. That I kind of know how it works.
Yeah.
So,
well, if you ever need extra people, we're jumping through the screen. Like we're ready. Let's go.
Yeah. If you ever want extra people, just let us know.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was interesting that he said the footprints just stopped, the tree and stopped.
Oh, and Gwen was going to ask you, what do you think about that?
Where do you think it went? What happened?
I kind of know where else for it to go except for up.
True story.
I mean, unless we actually see it with our own eyes, we don't really know. There's myths out there saying that they use trees as like a teleportation. I don't want to say teleportation, but I guess it is probably what you call it. And that's how they use them to travel or to go places, and the trees are their energy.
But I relayed a message to him, and I told him, I'm sure I understand he doesn't want anybody fooling around on the property while hunting season, because the hunting season is very good. But everybody carries a phone, and I told the gentleman I was talking to, I said, look, when you talk to him again, have him do me a favor. And it's like, yeah, what's that? I said, look, put a pen in his pocket, a pencil in his pocket. I said, a cigarette lighter in his pocket. And he just looked at me like I was crazy. And I said, look, if you find any more footprints, they take that pen or that pencil or that lighter out and lay it beside that footprint and take me some pictures and come and send them to me.
Yep.
I need something that I know what the length is, so that I know what we're looking at.
You can size it. Yep.
It's really hard to tell if you don't know.
Right. I carry a little, it's like, I don't know, 5-foot measuring tape I carry.
Mine's retractable, but it goes it's literally this big, and it's retractable, but it goes out to freaking 3 feet.
Yep. I just have a little one for my bag, my Bigfoot bag.
What happens when you're a crafter? You have 5 million of them.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I know.
When I can't find one, I just open a new one.
Well, I smoke, so of course I guess you bound to notice that I smoke.
No,
so
I didn't.
I've always got a lighter, and so I don't.
Right.
I don't care where you buy a lighter from; they're all the same.
Yeah,
that's true.
But I'm hoping that of course, I had told the guy that it was his brother-in-law that I was talking to, and I told him, hey, look, I understand if they don't want a bunch of people there, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want their real names, hey, I understand, that's fine. Jane and John Doe. I don't give me. I'll put whatever name you want to put to it.
Right.
I understand 100%. If you don't want to know, if you don't want nobody to know the address, then we can just say, okay, well, this is northeastern Virginia. Whatever.
Right. That's what I do. I tell people central Pennsylvania. I don't give them any more than that.
Central Pennsylvania is huge. That's why.
Keeps people from coming to my back door.
Don't you wish?
Yeah.
Don't you wish?
Well, only if you're invited.
I'll still show up. Too late.
I love you. My sister from another mister.
But, well, if you do happen to have anything happening, please let us know. We would love to hear any more information on your journey. That would be awesome.
Absolutely.
What to do is when I get in touch with this gentleman and I can arrange for, to go up, if that's, if they're both okay with that. Then,
absolutely.
I mean, it's I'm gonna take Daniel with me. It's just that I want him to go because
Right.
he's the boss. So
Yeah.
Don't tell him that.
and he's been doing it a whole lot longer than I have.
If he's watching right now, his head's going like this.
But we have our woman's intuition. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think sometimes women, I don't know about you, but I've hunted my whole life. And the guys that I would go hunting with would say, we're taking her because we see more deer when she's along. So there's something to be said about a woman being in the woods. I'm just saying. I always see animals in the woods. Always.
But it doesn't bother me. I mean,
no.
I say my wife, she likes the hiking and the camping and the fishing and
Yep.
I love it all.
Yeah, we're the same way.
I love every single thing about it.
Absolutely. Nothing more peaceful than to being out there. I said, even if I don't see nothing, it's a great day in the woods. Great day in the woods.
Don't see anything. It's still better than any day at work.
Oh my God.
Oh, amen to that.
Absolutely.
I go for a walk just to get away from work at lunch. So there you go.
Yeah. Yeah. Can I do endoscopy in the woods? Because I'd take that in a second.
I don't think so, but yeah.
No colons in the woods. That. Damn it. Well, John, thank you very much for joining us tonight. I can't believe it's already been an hour.
Where does the time go?
I don't know where it goes. On next Wednesday, make sure to tune in because Brendan Brown will be talking about the lost person behavior and the Tom Messick case from New York. If nobody's familiar with that, that's a very interesting case. We spent some time up there, not last weekend, but the weekend before. And that's going to be an ongoing thing. It's going to be pretty cool. But Brendan's going to be doing some rather interesting interviews next Wednesday night. So make sure to catch that because that's going to be very interesting, I think. And you can catch us in November 23rd. Again, we're going to be interviewing Jessica Mora and her cohort Kim, and her last name is escaping me at the moment. But they are putting on Encounter Quest April 1st of 2023 in Hamlin, North Carolina. So we're going to be talking with them about the event and how things are going and some of their personal experiences. So that'll be our last show for the season. Then we won't be back till February or March of 2023. It's going to be some changes happening to the show. So make sure you tune into that. That's going to be pretty cool. I'm kind of excited. What else? Oh, I know y'all love us. So make sure that you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you don't miss any more of our shows, because you never know what the hell's going to happen or what the conversation is going to be. There it is. Like, share, and subscribe at the CARCUniversal. That way you don't miss anything that we're going to be on. And
if you have a story that you want to tell, please let us know. And if you don't want to be on our live, that is perfectly fine. You can email us and let us know what it is, and we'll set up a way. We would love to hear your stories. I think it's fabulous listening to what people have to say.
Absolutely. We love to hear stories. We are not critical. We do not call people liars, because Carrie and I have had enough of our own experiences.
I don't think it's over yet, but it's okay.
Oh, no, girl, we're far from over. But yeah, we don't criticize anybody. So if you want to send us an email with your experiences, or maybe even have a topic you want us to cover, email us at the CARCUniversal@gmail.com. Someone will get back to you. I absolutely promise. And have a good week, everybody.
Thank you.
Hey, this is Chuck Larson. You're watching the CARC channel on YouTube.
Deep in the forest, you been watching From Behind Tall Trees, a Catskill Appalachian Research Collective production. For more information on this program and others like it, remember to like, share, and subscribe to CARC Universal today. To join the conversation on our Facebook group, become a member of the Catskill Appalachian Research Collective Facebook group. CARC. Relentless.